We didn't know how to sew. We didn't know how to sew, so we're picking the labels out, but we can't put our labels in. Let's get it. That's right. CJ Wrights. What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of CJ Wrights. I'm CJ Lloyd Webley. So I've been told numerous times that I'm a little bit of an enigma. Like, people want to know a little bit about my journey, how I got to this point of writing, being an entrepreneur. It's not kind of like a clear cut route. A lot of people talk about the iceberg and the fact now, obviously, I've won awards, I've had plays and things produced in Birmingham and London, but there is this whole iceberg thing that I don't think gets talked about enough. Now, my journey has been I've had quite a journey, let's put it that way. I didn't start off kind of thinking about being an entrepreneur. I didn't even necessarily start off thinking that I was going to be, employed as a writer or be able to do kind of freelance writing and things like that. I didn't know that there was a whole kind of world out there that was accessible to me, because really and truly there was no one that I knew who was doing that kind of work. So really I found my feet, and that's a lot of the time what happens with people, particularly in the creative sector. You get exposed to different things and then you find your way. So for me, I think that entrepreneurial side was always there. I tell this story, and I wish I had my boys on here, to be fair, to talk about when we tried to set up a clothing line. So basically we'd seen that, like, I think this was like early, probably 2016, 2015, 16. I think I just either finished university or was just coming towards the end of it, because I know we used some of the university facilities for something. There was this scheme going around, this kind of pyramid scheme going around. I'm not going to mention the name of it because I don't want it to kind of trigger painful memories of people. But there was this pyramid scheme that was going around, and a couple of my friends ended up getting involved in it because it was kind of pitching this get rich quick, do this and you'll have a BMW within a couple of months. All you've got to do is just get people to sign up and work hard. So that's what the scheme was doing, and unfortunately a couple of my friends went down that route and they were trying to get me involved, and I'm glad that I just thought, nah, something ain't right, so I didn't get involved in it. But I knew that it was because a lot of people at that particular time, and I think even now, like the idea of financial freedom, and that's very much what that particular pyramid scheme was promoting. And they did it in such a way that it didn't even seem like a scheme. It sounded very positive, and like if you were an ambitious person, you would be able to benefit from it. So it tickled a lot of people's interest, and I can see why people got involved in it. But anyway, when we kind of figured out that thing was a kind of a fraudulent thing, I remember they were making you buy items, and then the cost of the item, if you wanted to sell that on, it would have costed twice as much as you bought the item for. So I don't even know, the maths didn't add up to me. People went that route. But anyway, so once a couple of my friends had realized that wasn't kind of the route they wanted to go down. Like, I have a natural affinity for bringing people into my headspace and the way I'm thinking, or what I'm thinking about at a particular time. So I was thinking about the entrepreneurial thing as well, but didn't really know, what direction to go down, until I saw that obviously around that time a lot of people were setting up clothing brands and were just putting stuff on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot, and getting their friends to be ambassadors and all this sort of stuff. So I rung my friends. I said, look, I put us all in a WhatsApp group. I said, look, I know you guys have invested in that, it hasn't quite worked out, but what if we will set up a little clothing brand, little clothing line? We called it Alexander Roshi, trying to make it sound more premium. Called it Alexander Roshi. It's gonna sell kind of the essential lines. I'm gonna put some pictures up actually somewhere around the video, just so you can see what we were trying to do. So we said, yeah, Alexander Roshi, we're gonna have some premium lines. I'm gonna have to get my guys on here as well to do a video so we can properly reminisce about it, but it was a madness. So anyway, I was like proper going hard, man. I was on Alibaba looking at different products, ordering shirts and t-shirts and whatnot. Ordered a couple things from Fruit of the Loom. got our logo printed on there and all sorts. Got my friend to create a logo for us. Got that etched in. We had 2 different logos. We had the emblem, and we had the one that was it was a picture of a zebra, which was more the premium line that we were going to have on the shirts. So we had it all mapped out. Had no real kind of business acumen, but we had the passion to do something productive, and so we tried this Alexander Roshi thing. So I was definitely at university at the time, and now I think back, and essentially had a couple of shirts ordered, had a couple of samples ordered. We looked at it, we're like, yeah, this is hard, man, this is sick, like, yeah, this is the one, like, let's get a launch date and whatnot. So set up the Instagram page, got my cousin to design a website for us, whatnot. So we were proper on it. Like, it wasn't a joke to us. Like, we thought this was gonna, you know, the same way that they were pitching with their pyramid scheme about how that was gonna get you to that route to success. We thought Alexander Roshi was gonna be up in lights. Everyone was just gonna be on it. Didn't really have to market it because people were just gonna be like on it. We're just gonna put a couple things on Instagram, keep posting about it and whatnot. So we were big dreamers, and sometimes your judgment gets a little bit clouded, especially if you don't have people around you that can help to steer you a little bit. So got these couple samples, go down to my boy's house, Jamal. We're in the living room, we're picking the labels, the Fruit of the Loom labels out of the t-shirts and sewing our labels in. I'd ordered, I think, a bag of labels. I don't even know where they are now. I've probably still got them somewhere. So I've ordered a bag of labels we didn't know how to sew. We didn't know how to sew, so we're picking the labels out, but we can't put our labels in. So anyway, we're picking the labels out. Cool. We've got a batch of about 50 t-shirts. We didn't go onto the premium line yet. We were gonna do a soft launch with the more kind of essential line. So we're picking the labels out. Got Jamal's dad as well to help us. Up all night picking these labels out, and we're like feeling proper good about us. I was like, yeah, we're doing our thing, man. This is what we need to do. Not seeking any guidance, probably damaging the t-shirts as we're picking the labels out. So anyway, we're like, okay, we've got all the labels out now. Now we need to get our labels in. So I've called my mum's friend, and she said, yeah, no problem. Just come round. I think it probably cost about £30 or something to get all the labels sewn in. So we're like, yeah, that's a decent price. We'll split the cost and go from there. So we've gone to this lady's house. I think it was probably like 7 or 8 o'clock. I think I was driving at that time. So all hopped in my car, dashed the t-shirts in the boot, dashed the labels in the boot, and off we went to this lady's house. So we've gone in. So we said to her, yeah. She said, oh, so what's going on then? What are you guys doing? I told her in advance we were setting up a clothing line, and she was saying, okay, well, quite a few people are doing that at the moment. I was like, well, yeah, but people aren't doing it like us, because there's Nike and there's Adidas, but people buy Nike and people buy Adidas. Sometimes people buy both, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter how many people are doing it. It's just you bring your own thing to it. So like we were confident that we had something. So anyway, she says, okay, you want to have a look at your samples then? So I'm like, yeah, no, say no more. We had the label, we had the logo print, we actually had the name of the product of the brand like down the sleeve, which I actually thought looked quite nice. And so gave her a couple of the t-shirts. She looks at it, she says, oh, okay. Has a look inside the neck, and she pauses for a minute, and she points and says, what's gone on here? We said, oh, well, what we did was last night we were picking out the labels that came with it. She said, oh, why have you done that? You've damaged the t-shirt, you've damaged the goods. So then I've just looked at my boys, they've looked at me, we looked back at her, and I said, well, can you still do it though? She said, yeah, I can, but it's not gonna, that's all I wanted to hear. So anyway, she basically says, yeah, I'll do what I can. So anyway, gave her the bag. She said, I'll get them back to you in the next couple of days. We went away, we were all excited, we were talking about it, we reflected in the car and we were like, maybe we shouldn't have picked out the labels though. I was like, nah, it'll be fine. Like me, I'm that kind of person that I just gotta always see the positives. The positives were, we had got the products, we'd done what we thought was right, and we'd given it to her, she'll fix it. So anyway, we get the product back after a couple of days. We looked at them and we said, okay, not great, because obviously she had to repair some of the t-shirts and sew the label over the top, and it didn't look great. It wasn't the premium offering that we were going for. So we said, cool, whatever, is what it is. People aren't going to really look at the labels. I know people do look at labels, which is why we bought the labels in the first place, but it's neither here or there. So we said, okay, now we're going to do a photo shoot. Now, this was just an absolute madness. So I've booked out a couple of rooms at university. I've got a couple of my uni friends to say, can you just do some modeling for us? They were like, yeah, I'm down for it. We realized we didn't have any clothes. Like we just had a couple t-shirts, like a sample shirt with a zip down the side, which didn't have our logo on it. We had kind of essentials like black sleeve, white kind of body t-shirt. We literally had 3 items. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we've booked this in. My friends are coming to do the modeling. It'll be fine. So I was working at Topman at the time, and I just thought, okay, I'm gonna scoop up some Topman clothes and we'll piece it together. We get to the photo shoot now. We're taking pictures. I mean, we didn't have a great camera as it was. I think I had a little like Canon. I don't even know what it was. It was like a red camera. It cost about £100. So obviously the quality of the pictures wasn't going to be great, but we didn't really know anything about that. There was just no guidance at all. We were literally just trying to figure this thing out as we went. And we get to the venue with a little Canon camera, and my friends are there ready to go. So I've slid them some items over, and before we knew it, we'd taken about 150 pictures, but half of the pictures we'd taken were just Topman clothes, because there was nothing for us to do with the clothes. Like, you take a picture on the floor, you take a picture of the image on the white backdrop. And I also bought a couple of backdrops from eBay, just a couple of like white backdrops that were just terrible. Like, you're taking the picture within the frame, but the material is like this thin, and the actual frame is like that. So literally when they're standing in the middle, you can just see behind so it was all over the place. We took 150 pictures or whatever, realized that it just wasn't, we were just taking pictures of the Topman clothes. Like, we were making Topman look really good, but what were we showing? Like, and then we started to think, well, actually, if people do like the clothes, very few shots we've got of our actual clothes, we haven't even got anything in stock at the moment. We've only got the couple of t-shirts that we got the labels in. So we just didn't really have a clue. So I was having a conversation with my friend who worked at JD, and he was like, okay, you know, you got a couple of okay shots here. When are you looking to launch? And I was kind of just like, don't know, just launch the next couple of weeks. And he's like, oh, okay, have you got like a seasonal plan, like a lookbook or anything like that? And I was just thinking, okay, I'm just way out of my depth here. So I spoke to the guys, and we literally looked at the photos, looked at each other, and just never did it again. And we didn't actually say like, we're not doing this anymore. It just completely fizzled out. Like, we realized that we didn't have a clue. We weren't particularly passionate about the brand. We didn't even know why we were doing it in the first place, just other than the fact that we wanted to have something of our own and generate some income, but it probably just wasn't the right time. Most of us were students anyway, so we didn't really have the money to invest in the actual products and making them actually quality. So we just kind of didn't do a debrief or anything to say, yeah, we're closing the company. We didn't register it or anything, so we just kind of counted our losses. I think a couple of us were trying to like wear the t-shirts and stuff and try and like be proud of it, but we knew really and truly it wasn't going anywhere. And so now we come together and we talk about it, it's just an absolute joke. Like, we had all the ambition, all the desire in the world, but just absolutely no idea what we were doing. And so it's quite ironic now that I actually run an organization that's all about helping new startup entrepreneurs to know which areas of their business to focus on in the first instance, so that you don't end up spending your money in areas that it's just where you're thinking way too far ahead. And do some testing or see what people think of your products before you start picking out labels and all that madness. So yeah, so that was just one example of my journey. In future videos, I'll definitely be talking about some of the other things that I've done that have enabled me to understand myself better and how I've got to this point. But that is kind of where the entrepreneurial mindset came from. Didn't really have the guidance, but we had all the desire to succeed. So yeah, that was Alexander Roshi. I'm definitely going to get the guys on here so we can have an actual chat about the ins and outs, because there's probably things that I've forgotten as well. But yeah, that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, please drop them in the box below. Until next time, peace and love. Take care.